Juxtaposed expert testimony, or JET, is an alternative to the traditional approach of eliciting expert testimony. In a case with several expert witnesses, rather than each expert testifying at a different time, experts from all sides are examined together. This method streamlines the elicitation of expert testimony and allows the fact finder to easily compare expert testimony. These efficiencies reduce litigation time and costs. This video is a brief introduction to JET. Part 1 is based upon an actual JET jury trial on the issue of competency. It demonstrates 1. Posing the same question to all experts, 2. How experts reference each other's testimony in their answers, 3. How qualification testimony highlights differences in experience, and 4. How juxtaposed testimony highlights similarities and differences in research, analysis, and conclusions. Part 2 demonstrates how JET can be applied to other case types. 1. Personal injury, specifically future loss of earnings. 2. Medical malpractice, specifically general standard of care. And 3. Family law, specifically business evaluation. Part 1. The competency case. Larry Lewis banged on his neighbor's door with his hands, yelling, "Give me my things or I'm going to kill you." He was arrested for damaging the door and making criminal threats. While being transported to jail, Mr. Lewis rambled to the officer that the victim had put a super-sensitive hearing device in Mr. Lewis's inner ear, and they had conversations through this hearing device while they were in their respective houses. The voice through the device in his ear would also manipulate Mr. Lewis to do certain things. The issues in this case were whether Mr. Lewis was currently suffering delusions, and if so, whether the delusions rendered him incompetent to stand trial. The following questions establish that all experts agree that Mr. Lewis was not delusional about anyone in the courtroom where his trial would take place.
Doctors, would you all agree that your opinion about Mr. Lewis's competency was based upon his specific state of mind at the time you interviewed him, tested him, and evaluated him? Does anyone disagree with that premise? I see no hands. Dr. Shepard, did you have any indication during your evaluation that his delusions were related to someone being in this courtroom, being able to listen to him or manipulate him in some way?
Nothing about that came up.
Dr. Young, did you find any delusional thinking such that the judge had a listening device or someone in the courtroom could hear his thinking or manipulate him in some way?
Well, that subject didn't come up, so I guess I'll have to answer no.
Dr. Samuels?
No, his delusions were actually confined to specific individuals within proximity to his home.
None related to the court proceedings or believing that his attorney was listening to him or could manipulate his thinking?
No, not at all.
Dr. Freud?
Well, all of his statements were related to people that were mentioned in the police report.
Dr. Samuels, do you agree that Mr. Lewis has improved vastly since he was incarcerated?
Well, based on what's been reported to me here, yes, I'd have to agree with that statement.
Here you mean in today's testimony?
Yes.
Do any of you disagree that Mr. Lewis has vastly improved from the time of his arrest? I don't see anyone nodding. Dr. Shepard, did you see improvement as well?
Based on the description in the police report and based on the description just testified to by Dr. Samuels, who saw him a month before I did, yes, I would say that by the time I saw him, he was greatly improved.
In qualification testimony, the fact finder can compare and contrast qualifications. In this case, the superior qualifications of Dr. Shepard are made evident from the responses to questions posed to all the experts.
Dr. Shepard, How many defendants have you evaluated or supervised in the state hospital for legal competency?
I've evaluated 450 to 500.
What about you, Dr. Young?
About 300.
Dr. Samuels?
I don't really keep track, but I estimate in excess of 200.
Dr. Freud?
I think I've mentioned more than 250.
How many of you have the expertise that Dr. Shepard has and that you work with these people on a daily basis in a state hospital setting?
I'm not
Dr. Young?
currently doing that.
No.
Neither am I.
The following questions establish similarities and differences in the juxtaposed experts' research and analysis.
Dr. Young, as I understand your testimony, you saw no signs of any delusions when you actually evaluated Mr. Lewis.
That's right, not while I was with him. He did state to me that he had been delusional in the past, but there were no delusions when I was present.
But Dr. Freud, didn't you testify that Mr. Lewis was delusional at the time that you evaluated him, November 3rd?
Yes, the delusions about the influence of the radio waves and that sort of thing, he still held those delusions when I interviewed him.
And Dr. Samuels, wasn't it also your belief that when you interviewed Mr. Lewis that he was delusional about the neighbors' radio wave transmissions?
Well, yes, he even told me where I could purchase the interception radio device.
Well, when he was having that discussion with you, what did he say? You could purchase it for purposes of sending your own communications?
Yes,
Did he indicate that you could go purchase such a device so that you could listen to those communications?
yes,
Did he think that you could even purchase a device to manipulate others?
yes,
Now, Dr. Shepard, you heard the diagnosis that were previously proffered by Dr. Freud and Samuels in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And do you agree or disagree with those diagnoses?
Well, if I may, and I may be wrong about this, but there was one subtle difference between the testimony of Dr. Samuels and Dr. Freud. Dr. Freud diagnosed Mr. Lewis with having persisting delusions, implying that the methamphetamines have a long-term effect and that even after the drugs have worn off, that there are persisting delusions. I don't believe Dr. Samuels specifically used the term persisting. I believe that the diagnosis of methamphetamine-induced psychosis and delusions is absolutely pertinent to the time of the arrest and even probably before that. But as to whether those delusions are persisting, which is obviously the question we're here to determine today, I would not diagnose him as having a persisting condition, meaning one that continues in the absence of the intoxicating substance.
The following questions highlight similarities and differences in the juxtaposed experts' conclusions.
Starting down the line, Dr. Shepard, your conclusion was competent or incompetent?
Competent.
Dr. Young?
Competent.
Dr. Freud?
I opined that he was competent to stand trial.
Dr. Samuels?
competent with certain conditions.
And what are those conditions, sir?
Well, my condition, or the condition, is that when he's not with or near the individuals that he believes control him, that he's, I'd say, relatively asymptomatic, and when in proximity to those individuals, he may well be more symptomatic, and thus that would influence his reasoning. And I guess that I would say that it's my opinion that that where he's exposed to people that are the source of his delusions concerning the listening device, that he may be incompetent.